What if I told you that there are 7 distinct levels to building wealth, and every time you rise to the next one, you unlock more freedom, more abundance, and more control over your time? But here's the catch. Most people never make it past level 3. They stay trapped in the cycle of work, save, survive, believing that they're doing everything right, yet never feeling what it's truly like to get ahead. They don't realize that there's quite literally a roadmap through level 3 all the way to level 7 to complete financial freedom. Wealth isn't something that just happens to you. You won't magically wake up one day with financial freedom. Wealth is a progression, a process, a system that rewards the intentional. But most people don't even know that these levels exist. They're playing the game of money and therefore the game of life blind and wondering why they're so stuck. So today we're going to change that. I'm going to walk you through all 7 levels of wealth, from survival all the way to legacy. You'll see where you are, what's keeping you stuck, and how to finally move forward with real purpose and power. Now, before we dive into the 7 levels, I want to welcome you to the Wealth Outside of Wall Street YouTube channel, where we teach you how to take control over your money and use it as a tool to build and live a life that matters, starting right now. My name is Ryan D. Lee, and around here, we challenge the traditional retirement systems, and we show you how to achieve real financial freedom in 10 years or less. No Wall Street dependency, no hoping and waiting, just proven frameworks and systems that work. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start building real wealth on your terms, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because this is the financial roadmap that you were never given. So with that being said, let's jump into level 1. Now, level 1 is the base level. It's survival. This is where money controls you. Every dollar, it's already spoken for. There's stress, there's fear, and there's uncertainty. One unexpected bill can throw your entire life into chaos. So how do you know if you're on level 1? Well, number 1, you're usually behind on your rent, your bills, your credit card payments, you name it. You don't know how much money you make, and you don't really know how much money you owe. You constantly feel like your head is underwater, kind of like you're drowning. Now, if you're in level 1, here's what I want you to focus on. Get brutally honest about your numbers. Write down every debt, every bill, and every account. Freedom begins with awareness. Know your income to the dollar. Start saving just $20 a month. Not because it's a lot, just to prove that you can. Give yourself a new identity that you can control your money. And then the most important focus is to start focusing on increasing your income. Create more value. Become a person who solves problems, because you can never outbudget poverty. And most importantly, challenge your money beliefs. Thoughts like money is evil or I'll never get ahead aren't just beliefs, they're anchors. This now moves us to level 2, which is stability. You're no longer drowning, but you're still barely treading water. You know that you're in this stage if you can cover your basic expenses, if you're making minimum debt payments, and you're not overdrafting, but saving still feels like it's too hard and out of your control. So if you're in this stage, here's what I want you to focus on. Build simple financial systems. Automate your bills, debt payments, and most importantly, your savings. Save and invest at least 5% of your income. Start learning the basics of compounding growth. Negotiate high interest rate debt down. In stage 2, you're laying the foundation, and systems are the scaffolding that will start to lift you up out of stage 2 into level 3. Now, level 3 is where most of the middle class find themselves, and ultimately where most of the middle class gets stuck. Level 3 is all about security. And like I said, this is where most people stall out, but it doesn't have to be that way. Now, you're gonna know if you're here if you know your numbers. You know how much money you make, you know how much money you save, and you know how much money are in your investment accounts. You probably have an emergency fund, whether it's small or big. You've started putting some distance between you being on the edge and having a few more options inside of your life with the emergency fund. And here, one of the keys is you are investing consistently. You've automated your savings and investing in stage 2, and by stage 3, you're starting to notice your wealth is compounding and growing. Now, it's not as big as you want it to be, but you can definitely see the progress that you've been making. Now, if you're in level 3, here's what I want you to focus on. I want you to expand out your emergency fund. Having an emergency fund is a return on your attention. It allows you to stay positive and in abundance and never get set back by the unexpected things that over a long enough period of time are just part of the game of life. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Increase your investing from 5% or less up to 10, preferably 15 to 20% of your income. Start aligning your money with your real goals and your real values, and you'll find it easier to save money for the future. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to learn your crossover point. I want you to start evaluating your investments based on how much income those investments are going to produce. If you don't know that, this is where your research needs to begin. If you're just measuring your success based on net worth, you're missing the entire point of investing. Once you understand how much income your assets will generate for you, I want you to measure your crossover point. What this means, when will you have enough cash flow from your investments to cover your expenses? This is your crossover point. And the objective is to pull that crossover point as close as you possibly can. Listen, I have so many videos on the topic of cash flow. I'm not going to get into more detail on this video, but I want you to understand it's possible for you to achieve financial freedom in 10 years or less. Now, in order to do that, the next thing I need you to consider in stage 3 is rethinking financial advice. You're not just trying to fill a big bucket of money and hope that it lasts. You're building pipelines that produce income for life. Traditional financial advice, retirement advice, says save enough money and slowly drain your bucket. But real wealth comes down to creating assets that keep the cash flowing into perpetuity. That's the power of the passive income machine investment strategy. It's a strategy that anyone can use who's saving 10 to 20% of their income to achieve financial freedom in 10 years or less. The question isn't how much have I saved, it's how much income is flowing from my assets every single month without me working for it. You're not just managing money in this stage anymore, you're starting to own it. Now, if you can start to master the conversation of money and start to master the crossover point, understanding how assets produce income, you're going to graduate to level 4. Level 4 is all about growth. Now wealth starts working for you. You're going to know if you're here if your investments are growing quickly, but here's the most important key, if they're growing predictably. In growth mode, you're thinking now in decades, not just in paychecks, and you've made the sacrifices for long-term gain. And now you're starting to see the payoff showing up in your bank account. Now, if you're in this stage, here's what I want you to focus on. I want you to continue to increase your investment rate by 1% each year. Now, it's not much, but if you want a predictable path to inevitably achieving financial freedom, save more money. Now, in order to save more money, this doesn't just happen by accident. You have to intentionally plan for it. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to visualize your timeline. Visualize your timeline of how many more assets you need to acquire to hit your crossover point. Number 3, audit and realign your spending to your highest values. Number 4, reflect on how your money beliefs have evolved over time. One of my favorite things to do is to look at my present based on looking at my past. This is when you start to realize that financial success isn't just about tactics, it's really about your identity. Who you believe you are is who you actually become. And once your belief changes, the only variable is time. This then allows you to progress into level 5, which is freedom. Now, my friends, I want you to understand if you're in this phase or you're moving towards this phase, you are in rare air. Less than 10% of the American population will ever experience level 5. If you're here at this stage, I want you to start focusing on defining your rich life. I want you to ask yourself, what do I truly want this one life that I've been given to mean for me? Then start using your money as a tool to live it, experience it, and accomplish it. Life is so precious, and time is the true currency that it's measured by. Don't wait until someday. Design your life now and let your money serve that purpose. Start giving yourself permission to not just perpetually grow your wealth, but to truly invest in a life that matters, in experiences, in opportunities, in friendships, in adventure, in donations. This might sound easy, but if you've made it to this stage, I know that you're a driven individual, and usually driven individuals drive to the next milestone post. So it's hard to give yourself permission to spend money now and view it as an investment. So start practicing using your money to invest in the things that matter most to you. Don't wait for one day, do it now. Now, this now allows us to move into level 6, which is abundance. At this stage, the money machine is running, but now it's about enjoyment. You'll know if you're here if you spend freely now on your highest value areas. This doesn't mean wasting money. This means freely giving yourself the permission to spend money on the things that matter most, and to view it less as a function of spending and more as a function of investing your dollars to translate those dollars into what truly matters. Money's just a tool, but it will never replace you as the driver. Number 2, you'll know you're at this stage of your life when you realize you can't do it all alone, nor do you want to. You have a financial team. You have a CPA, you have a tax strategist, you have an attorney, you have an advisor, you have an insurance agent, you have all the people in your corner that are aligned to your goals and visions and are helping empower you to get there more effectively. Now, at this stage, here's what I want you to focus on. Invest to eliminate downside risk. Freedom isn't built on speculation, it's built on certainty. The next thing is refine your team. Hold your team accountable to the results that you want to achieve with your money. And finally, find new ways to create impact and joy. You get one life to live, so discover what your talents are and put them to use in serving other people, in becoming the solution to the problems that the world has. At this phase, you're no longer chasing an ROI, you're chasing purpose. This then graduates us to level 7, which is legacy. This is where wealth becomes immortal. You'll know if you're here if you're building something that outlives you. You're now not just thinking in decades, you're thinking in generations. You're focused on meaning, not just money. So if you're here, here's what I want you to start focusing on. Define your legacy goals and realize that legacy isn't just what you leave, legacy is a function of how you live. And with that, start building your legacy family. The people around you are the real assets, and the money, that's just the fuel. Teach what you've learned. Pass on the real form of wealth, which isn't money, it's your mindset. And structure your finances through trusts, succession plans, and values that last. Generational wealth isn't just about passing down money, it's about passing on wisdom. So my friends, now you know the roadmap, the 7 levels of wealth. So where are you right now and what will it take for you to level up? Drop it down in the comments below. Let me know what level you're in and what questions you have inside of that level so I can give you added resources, added content, and added tools to help you get from one level to the next. Break out of level 3 because this is where most people remain stuck for their entire life. So if you're ready to move from guessing with money to actually building wealth with certainty, then don't miss the next video where I'll continue to share the strategies and the tools to empower you with money. Because at the end of the day, money is just a tool, but it will never replace you as the driver. My friends, join me on the next video, and until then, rise up and live free.